I heard the word useless cut across my backyard like a knife, and before I even turned the corner, I knew the voice: Juliet standing over a girl bent over a plastic basin, hands raw, scrubbing clothes that weren't even hers. And in that moment, I had a choice: keep the peace for appearances or protect the person who had nowhere else to go. Tell me, if it were you, what would you have done? Because I looked Juliet in the eye and I said the words that changed everything. Leave my house. You want to know how we got there? How a man with drivers and meetings and a last name that opens doors ends up putting his relationship, his business, alliances, his whole reputation on the line for a stranger. It didn't happen in a boardroom. It happened outside a supermarket in Lagos, where the sun felt like it could read your secrets, and the air smelled like roasted corn. I was stepping out with my sunglasses on, mind already racing spreadsheets and site inspections, when I heard it. "Excuse me, sir. Please, can you help me with some money for food?" Soft voice, careful, like she didn't want to take more kindness than the day could spare. I turned, and there she was. Barefoot, dress torn at the hem, long black hair the wind refused to comb, skin dark and lit by the sun, in a way that made me think of Grace and eyes. Big, tired, honest. I've met models, celebrities, daughters of presidents, and yet I forgot how to breathe for a second. I said the first true thing that came to my mouth. "I don't have cash. Give me 1 minute, I'll hit the ATM. Please wait right here." And she nodded. "Okay, sir, thank you." 2 words that carry an ocean when your body is hungry. I crossed, punched. The pin, grabbed the cash, looked up. Gone. She vanished. I checked behind. Cars peeked around corners. Walked the block like a man searching for a ghost. Nothing. Strange, right? How you can lose someone you don't even know, and it still feels like loss. You know what I mean? I got home to Banana Island with that money still burning my palm, and my father waiting on his favorite leather couch, the one that makes him sit taller. And he didn't say hello, he said business. "How far about the wedding with Chief Udo's daughter? Engagement next month. I hope you're taking it seriously." And I said the thing I'd been rehearsing for months. "Dad, I don't love this woman." And his face did not move. "You don't have a choice," he said. "Love doesn't build empires, wisdom does." Maybe I should have been born a spreadsheet. Would have made life simpler. That night I lay under the ceiling fan counting slow circles, and the face that wouldn't leave me was not Juliet's, not the alliance in high heels. It was the girl from the road, the one the city swallowed while I was typing my pin. "God," I said into the dark, "let me see her again, just one more time." And my voice sounded like it belonged to somebody honest. Morning came hot, as if Lagos turned the oven up, and I was in my home office pretending to read a file when my phone rang. Foreman from a site on the mainland, voice cautious. "Sir, something strange. One of the men checked Block C and found a woman sleeping there on the floor. She says she has nowhere to go." My heart opened an old door. "Did she say her name?" I asked. "No, sir, she's young, dark-skinned, torn white dress." That was it. I grabbed my keys. I drove like a man catching a departing train. Lights that always turn red somehow stayed green. Walked past the greetings, went straight to Block C, and she was there, curled on concrete like a child saving the last of her warmth. The same girl, the same torn dress, the same quiet beauty that had held me for 1 minute and then disappeared. I didn't speak at first. I just stood in the door because it felt like my whole life had walked into one room and asked me to decide who I was. She woke, startled, eyes wide. "I'm sorry, please don't send me away. I just needed a place to rest. I'll go soon." And she wasn't acting. There's a kind of honesty that refuses to perform. "No," I said, and her face dropped like I'd shut a door, so I lifted a hand. "Not here. This site is dangerous. You're coming home with me." She blinked like she'd misheard. "Sir, are you serious?" "Yesterday I missed my chance," I told her. "I'm not missing it twice." Her name was Zara. Say it. It lands soft like something you don't want to drop. I gave her the guest room a simple blue dress, a proper shower, and for the first time in a while that house exhaled. In the morning, the kitchen smelled like jollof and garlic and new beginnings. I stood in the doorway just watching her move, careful, confident, like peace remembered our address. Then the heels came. Juliet. Heavy makeup, heavier voice. "Excuse me, who are you?" she said from the threshold, like she was stopping a crime. "Good morning, Ma," Zara answered. "I'm just cooking." And Juliet's laugh cut the room in half. "Cooking? In my man's house," she said, "wearing someone else's dress, moving like you live here." I stepped in. "Juliet, I told you about her." But she had already decided on her story. "You brought a stray into this mansion," she said. "Today she washes plates, tomorrow she's in your bed." And it wasn't what she said. It was the way she said it, like kindness is a sickness rich people catch if they aren't careful. I looked at Zara's hands trembling, looked at Juliet's chin raised to the ceiling, and I felt heat. I hadn't felt since I was a teenager, learning what it costs to tell the truth. "You don't live here," I told Juliet, "and you won't insult her in my kitchen." She slow clapped empty air. "So you're defending a woman you met 2 days ago." "I'm defending reality," I said, "and if reality embarrasses us, maybe we needed it. Do you think that's fair, calling out cruelty when it wears perfume? Or should I have smiled and kept the peace?" My father called that evening with a voice that sounded like a bank letter. "Juliet came here crying. 'Who is the girl in your kitchen, and why is she wearing your clothes?' he said. And I told him straight, no apology. I gave someone a room, she helps in the house, she's safe." "Be careful," he said quietly. "Some girls look innocent today, and tomorrow they cost you everything." And I realized sometimes the people who love you most are the ones who fear kindness the loudest. "Dad, I know what I'm doing," I said, and we both knew I was committing a small rebellion. A week later, I took a quick day trip for a meeting and came back early with fruit salad for Zara, because sometimes affection arrives as papaya in a chilled bowl. I walked along the side of the house and heard Juliet's voice, sharp, rehearsed. I rounded the corner and it froze me. Zara bent over a basin scrubbing clothes that weren't hers, hands red from soap, and Juliet standing over her like a prison guard. "Wash it again, you useless girl," Juliet said. Everything in me went still. She tried to rewrite the moment when she saw me. "Babe, she likes helping." I gave her a task, and I shook my head. "Don't lie." I told her, "I heard you. I saw you." She smirked the way pride smirks when it thinks wealth will protect it. "So this is it. You're choosing her." "I'm choosing peace," I said, "and you keep chasing war." And then I said it, not a threat, a decision, "Please leave." Yeah, that happened. Zara looked at me with tears that didn't fall. "I didn't come to destroy anything," she whispered. "I know," I said, and then I crossed a line I'd been circling for days. "I think I fell in love with you the first day I saw you outside that supermarket." Silence. Not the awkward kind, the kind where truth sits down and waits to see who you really are. "Sir," she started, and I cut in, "You don't have to call me sir." "Okay, Benson," she said. Then she lifted her chin and did the bravest thing I've seen in a long time. "I'm not ready for love. I came here broken. I need to work, save money, and go back to school. That's my dream." That was the twist I didn't see coming. The girl the world calls desperate knew her boundaries better than I knew mine. "What do you want to study?" I asked. "Mass communication. I love writing. I like talking. I want to work in media." "You already have a voice worth listening to," I said. She smiled like the compliment was heavy, and she wasn't sure where to put it. You just like encouraging people, she replied. Maybe I do. Stick around because what happened next will blow your mind. My mother showed up to judge, not in her words, but in her posture, the careful kind of visit where a parent plans to save you from yourself. Zara opened the door before I could get there and said, "Good afternoon, Ma, please come in," with a warmth that didn't try too hard. She cooked my mother's favorite fried rice fast and clean, and then she did something I still think about. She brought a bowl of warm water, a clean towel lotion, and asked, "Can I wash your feet?" And in that simple gesture, my house changed seasons. Not as a servant trying to impress, as a human, honoring another human whose feet had carried a family into the future. My mother watched her with a look I hadn't seen in years, the look of a person who just found something true in a world full of performance. Later, after I came in, my mother told me what Juliet had said at her house. That we were fools, that Zara was stealing me, that my mother needed to fix me. And then my mother said the sentence that unclenched a part of my chest I didn't know was tight. Zara is a treasure, respectful, kind, gentle, caring, everything a real man needs. The woman I was told would push Zara away had pulled her close. That was twist number 2. Juliet wasn't done. She came back like thunder, misreading the forecast, loud, threatening. "Choose between me and that low life or I'm done," she warned. "And my father will cut your father off from every contract." And I looked at her the way you look at a storm through a window, grateful for glass. "You insulted my mother," I said. "That's the last straw. I don't love you, I never did. My father bullied me into pretending it ends today." She promised we would suffer, and for a while she was right. Rooms got colder, phones went quieter, deals floated just out of reach. My father went to see Chief Udo the next morning, and I braced for the speech, the one about sacrifice for the family duty numbers, and instead, he came home lighter. He said, "We're throwing everything away for a nobody," my father told me, and I said my son's happiness matters more to me than any contract. That was twist number 3. The patriarch who believed in alliances remembered he was a father. Do you think he did the right thing, or should business always come first? If your company hung in the balance, what would you have done? Sunset on our balcony, the city humming sky, trying on gold like a new suit. And I asked Zara to sit. I told her what my mother said, what my father did, and then I did the thing my chest had been practicing. I knelt. Not because money makes romance, because posture tells the truth sometimes. "I love you," I said. "From the moment I saw you ask for help, I knew I didn't want to forget your face. You showed me peace, strength, real beauty. Will you marry me?" She touched her lips with her fingertips like joy had arrived without knocking. "I've loved you too," she whispered. "I just didn't want you to think I was after your money." "Yes," she said, "I'll marry you." We didn't turn our wedding into a corporate gala. We invited people who knew our real names when nobody was watching. We ate, we laughed. We moved into a home with more light than marble, more plants than trophies. I helped Zara enroll in university for mass communication, and she studied like opportunity is a living thing that gets hungry at night. 2 years later, she opened a small media company and hired young people from the streets because she remembered, and she refused to stop remembering. I'd watch her in the office kitchen showing an intern how to pitch a story, then in a meeting, insisting the quietest person go first, and I realized something I wish I'd known earlier. Kindness isn't charity, kindness is structure. Let me say the controversial part out loud, because I know someone will type it anyway. There was a power imbalance at the start. Obviously, a billionaire and a homeless woman do not stand on the same floor, and if you think otherwise, you haven't been paying attention. So we built rules, we named the imbalance, we put rails around it, separate accounts, her own schedule. No obligations made to feel like favors. Yes means yes and no is a complete sentence. I learned to love that word. No. Because it told me who I am without the decorations. Do you think that's enough to make a relationship like ours ethical? Or does any love story that starts with rescue always sit on a fault line? Do you think that's fair? There were costs. Some contracts did not renew. Some acquaintances learned to ghost us in daylight. My father swallowed pride on mornings when the market numbers didn't love him back. But grief softened into gratitude, and our house learned how to keep the right kind of quiet. We hold coffee without talking margins for 20 minutes now. My mother walks in and breathes easier. Zara sings when she cooks off key good enough for me. We chose peace, and yes, it sent invoices, but we paid them with both hands. I keep a photo on my desk. Not the wedding portrait. Not a launch day ribbon. Cutting just a Tuesday snapshot. Sunlight across the tile. Zara in jeans and a t-shirt, stirring a pot with one hand and texting our accountant with the other. Bare feet, relaxed shoulders. A life that doesn't apologize for being gentle. When I look at it, I remember the basin, the raw hands, Juliet's voice like a blade, my own voice telling the storm to leave, and I think, yeah, we did the reckless thing, and it turned out to be the wise thing. So I'm asking you, all of you who have watched this far, tell me the truth you've lived. If you were me outside that supermarket, would you have walked past or walked back? If your partner insulted someone vulnerable in your kitchen, would you keep the alliance or protect the person? When your father put business on the table and your heart on the line, what would you have chosen? And would you still choose it now? And here's the one that will start a fire in the comments. Can love grow equal where it started unequal? Or is that a fairy tale we tell ourselves to feel good about what we wanted to do anyway? If you felt anything in this story, if it made you angry, if it made you hopeful, if it made you argue with the screen and then nod along, 3 minutes later, drop your thoughts. Do you think Juliet deserved her second chance, or would you still lock that door? Are arranged alliances always wrong, or can they work when character is right? And where should we draw the line between generosity and control? I want the messy, honest, real stuff, not the polite version. Stick around because the next story, trust me, it will raise new questions. If kindness isn't weakness to you, hit like. If peace feels like power, subscribe. Share this with someone who needs a reminder that small choices change big lives. And in the comments, tell me where you're watching from, what time it is right now, and the moment in your own life where you chose the hard good thing over the easy wrong one. Your turn.